one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2 3. 1 2 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Saint. I hope everybody out there is having a dope day. Yo. What's up? What's up? Listen. Before I got on here, I was listening to Shabuzi. My baby want a Birkin. She's been telling me all night long. Hey, yo, that shit. It's kind of fire. Not kinda. It's absolute fire. I like the track, but I come to you today sad. A bit, I'm not even sad. I'm a bit irritated with the LA Sparks. The LA Sparks, man. Boy. The LA Sparks. We played Caitlin Clark's Fever last night. And all the problems. I take nothing away from the Indiana Fever. A great game by Aaliyah Boston last night. They had other players hit big 3-pointers for them. Caitlin Clark hit 2 big-time 3-pointers in the clutch of this game. They basically put it away. Dagger-type threes. But it shouldn't have got to that point. The LA Sparks, man. I just don't understand how you can have a team with 5 legit scorers, 5 women who can go get you a bucket, and you cannot figure out how to put an offense in place to get this team going. I don't get it. I done said we don't give Cameron Brink the ball enough. Well, they decided to get her the ball without even running any type of plays or whatever for her. It's ridiculous. Kia Nurse struggled last night. Hamby kind of struggled. Brown struggled. Brown shot up a crazy 3 when it was like a minute or less left. It was crazy. We scored like 11 points in the third quarter, yo. And shit, we probably scored 11 in the fourth. In the second half, we forgot how to score the ball. We got back to turning the ball over like we do so well in these first couple games. And in the fourth quarter, and really you could say in the second half at this point, we become offensively challenged. I don't understand it. I don't. I understand Kia Nurse having an off shooting night last night. What I don't understand is how you have 5 women, though, who can go get you a bucket. One of them is struggling. You can't find out how to get a consistent offense going with those other 4 women. Cameron Brink had a good night last night, even though I don't feel like they really fed her the ball as far as running plays for her to get easy buckets. Rakia Jackson is just a straight bucket, bro. Rakia Jackson's just a bucket. She can get the 3. The turnaround jumper is disgusting from the post. She can get you off the dribble. Rakia Jackson's a bucket. That was a phenomenal pick. I think Cameron Brink, because Cameron Brink, to be honest with you, she could win Defensive Player of the Year already. And I know it's a couple women out there who having great years defensively to start off the season, but Cameron Brink, when she is in the game for LA, when she is out the game for LA, 2 completely different teams. I wish they would use her more effectively on the scoring. That, to me right now, LA's biggest problem is we just don't run a good offense. If you told me right now, Saint, we do run an offense, I would say it's a terrible offense. And I think and it's going to sound crazy, but I think the biggest problem is we have so many scores. You don't want to limit yourself from being able to score with these different scores we have by putting them in an offense that limits one of them. However, we are not going to get to where we need to get to if somebody don't take a back seat and we put in a legitimate offense that, because we have the scores. We can put 5 women on the floor right now that can all shoot threes and shoot from anywhere on the floor. But if you watch the Sparks, you would see that like, yo, they got the scores, but we don't have an offensive game plan whatsoever. Defensively, I don't even know if we bad or good defensively. I know we look great defensively when Cameron Brink is on the floor, because Cameron Brink is a unbelievable defender already as a rookie. Like she will more than likely make all defensive rookie team and the all defensive team, and could possibly be trying to battle for a defensive MVP this year. That's how great Cameron Brink is defensively already. But outside of Cameron Brink, or when she is off the floor, our defense just looks sporadic. One of my problems with the WNBA right now is a lot of different teams. It's times throughout the game where it looked like bad basketball, sloppy ball. And I don't blame these women for that. I think that's a product of not having time to have training camps, to have constant practices. They basically trying to learn how to play together with each other as the season go on. And I know it's normal to get your chemistry better as the season go on, but most of these NBA teams, they practicing all the time. They have an off season. In the NFL, you have an off season. You have training camps and all that type of stuff. These are things that you don't necessarily have in the WNBA, and if you have it, it's not like long. It's 2 weeks or shorter. So I think that's one of the issues that LA is dealing with also. So I understand that issue, because a lot of teams are dealing with that issue. It's few teams that don't deal with that issue, and that's because they've probably been playing together for a while now. Like the Las Vegas Aces, who beat the dog shit out of Indiana tonight. But that's because of Las Vegas done been together for a minute. They know how to play together. Training camp will help them even more, but they don't necessarily need it in the extent of they are trying to learn how to gel together. A lot of these other teams need it. LA needs it. We got a lot of new players. And I said this before, I'm not trying to get my man Kurt fired, but I just think there is a head coach out there that could get the LA Sparks in such a better position to be successful, because they have the talent. This ain't even an issue where you look at the Sparks and say, bro, they just don't have the talent. They don't have a scorer. They don't have a shooter. They have the talent on the roster. They're not playing properly, and they're not been put in position on offense to be successful. And sometimes defensively, they just look ridiculous. And the turnovers. Listen, you're not going to find a bigger Lexi Brown fan than me. However, she is not a point guard. And the point guards, and the only reason they keep trying to have Lexi run the point is because I believe, respectfully, the other point guards on our roster are below average at right now, playing wise. Like Calderon basically don't give you anything, but she's a starter. But she really don't provide much for you offensively or defensively. So, and the Sparks should have beat Indiana. I understand how great Caitlin Clark is, and I'm going to get to Caitlin in a minute. And I understand how great Aaliyah Boston is. The Sparks have the better roster. So when you look at the second half, when you just look at turnover after turnover, missed shot, the offense just not understanding how to get in position, throwing up bad shots. Like, we 1-3 and we should be 4-0 right now. You could make a case that the Sparks could be 4-0 right now. Give me a second. There is a strong argument can be made that the Sparks should be 4-0 right now. But we're not. We're not. We're not. And that is frustrating. That is frustrating because if you watch, because I haven't missed a Sparks game. I watch every Sparks game, and we should be so much better. I said this before. When I look at all the other WNBA teams, and there's a lot of great offensive score, like the Dallas Wings got multiple great scores on the team. Minnesota, it's a lot of teams out there with great score. The Mercury, it's a lot of teams that have a lot of great scores. It ain't a lot of teams that can put 5 women on the floor that can go get you 15 to 20 plus points a game. The Sparks have that. Lexi Brown can go get you 15 to 20 plus points. Cameron Brink, Rakia Jackson can go get you 15 to 20 points. Kia Nurse can go get you 15 to 20 points. De'Erica Hamby can go get you 15 to 20 points. However, when you look at, we should be one of the best offenses in the WNBA, but we're not. We're not. And that is a problem. It's no reason why this team should be this bad. As far as, like, it's not even just being bad offensively. We are so bad in the small areas, taking care of the ball, finding the open person when they are open. Like, sometimes we'll be dribbling around. Sometimes I feel like we have scorers who get tunnel vision and they don't see the other open player. That's why I kept going so hard about, they have Cameron Brink out there running cardio. She is getting open and they are not getting her the ball. It almost feel like they're doing it on purpose. Well, when you look at the game, they don't find a lot of different players wide open. However, for the most part, the vets do get each other the ball. If Rakia Jackson wasn't such a bucket, you could make an argument Rakia Jackson is probably the best all-around scorer on the team right now, even though I really feel like her and Cameron Brink are the future of the Sparks. Because both of them, while Rakia Jackson, you can say she's not the greatest defender. She hasn't been awful defense. She haven't even been bad defensively. And obviously Cameron Brink has been otherworldly defensively to start off. You can make an argument offensively and defensively. They could be the best big woman combo in the WNBA. I think Cardosa and Angel Reese going to be a hell of a duo too for Twin Towers in the post. But I'm a Spark fan, so we talking about the Sparks. But you just look at, and I remember saying at the beginning of the season, I hope we suck this year so we can end up getting Paige Buchers. No, I was bullshitting. I was just talking. I don't want to suck. We have a good enough team. We have a more than good enough team. And I know some people might be saying, like, bro, saying you only thinking about the scoring. Listen, when you got this many scores on your team, you should be able to win a couple games, because there's going to be a lot of teams in the WNBA that cannot have. who do not put together, who cannot put together or put on the floor the amount of scores at any given moment that the Sparks can. And there is a coach out there that has an offense out there that can utilize every single one of the scores on the Sparks. That's my problem right now. The Sparks have scores at every position to the point where they should never give the opposing team a break. Yet, it feel like we always give the opposing defense a break. So, and we shoot ourselves in the foot with these fucking turnovers all the time, man. My goodness, it's irritating, but that's Sparks talk. I want to talk about the Western Conference playoffs, because I didn't get to them in a previous show, and I said I was going to talk about them, and I do want to talk about them, even though right now we are 2 games deep into the Western Conference Finals. I do want to touch on the previous round for a brief moment, however. Specifically, the Denver Nuggets. So the Denver Nuggets lost Game 7 at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that was a hilarious ending when you consider Draymond said that he felt like Minnesota was done. Like they didn't have a will to fight anymore and yada, yada, yada. So all the Draymond haters definitely going to be playing that on repeat. Nonetheless, I'm watching this game. And I watched that game, and I cannot help but think to myself, for one, it is very hard to be back-to-back champions. That's why you got to appreciate what Steph and LeBron and Kobe and all those legends who was able to win multiple championships and win every year on most years out of. You got to put some respect on their name because it's hard to do. Denver just showed you that. I still think Denver has the best player in the NBA in Nikola Jokic. But it ain't easy winning a championship every year, and that's what that was proof to. That's why I got irritated when that reporter had asked Giannis, was it a failure? I understand the expectation for certain players every year is we want to win a championship. But, bro, this process ain't easy. Like, that shit is not easy. Like, it's other great players stopping you, like Michael Jordan, LeBron, Steph, Kobe, Magic, Bert. All these dudes done had us believe, or have a section of fans believe, that just because you the best player in the game or just because you great, that you supposed to win every single year. And that's just not the reality. It's great players in the NBA, a lot of great players in the NBA. And what most people beg for is parity. And now you get parity. And now dudes is having their legacy shot at because parity exists. I think this is why you got to understand the greatness of a Steph Curry, the greatness of a Kobe Bryant, the greatness of a LeBron James, the greatness of a Michael Jordan, the greatness of a Shaquille O'Neal, the greatness of a Larry Bird, a Magic Johnson. These guys who made winning look easy and did it on such a consistent basis, they won at the highest level. You just got to understand how great they are, yo. That's a section of guys, of athletes in the NBA who are just in another realm of greatness. I do not think this is a shot at Nikola Jokic's legacy at all. He came up short. The reality is you can't win them all. Even if you feel like Denver had the best team in the Western Conference, or maybe you thought Denver had the best team in the NBA. The reality is, it's a tough sport, yo. It's tough. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I look at these teams in the Western Conference, one of the most impressive things to me right now is that Dallas, Minnesota, the Nuggets. Matter of fact, you can make an argument the best looking team in the Western Conference wasn't even the Nuggets. And that's one of the things they get prided on the most. Like, they have a great team. Yeah, they got a great player, a legendary player in Jokic. But what make it all happen is because they got a great team. I can make an argument. If you look at Minnesota and Dallas, they have actually been the better teams when you look at the production they get out of the other players. the production that Dallas is getting out of Lively and the starting center, I can't remember his name at the moment. I think it's Gabbert or Gaddard, whatever his name is, respectfully. The production that you getting out of both of those two dudes right now is unreal. PJ Washington, like Derrick Jones, the production that they are getting. This is why I argued the other day on a show a couple weeks ago. I understood the complaints or the criticism people had at Luka early in his career. But the more and more I watched him this year and in these playoffs, I don't feel like this is the same Luka. Because I was one of those people who said he played closer to James Harden than he does a LeBron or a Magic or a player like that. But when you look at Luka now, this is not a dude who dribbling out the shot clock and then shooting out a hockey pass. This is a dude who legitimately understands the offense. So, I mean, what he is seeing from a defense, he understands how to attack it. He understands how to get people to their spots and get them. He got both his centers looking like all-star centers right now. You can trust that PJ and Derrick Jones going to have good games because you know Luka going to get them in positions to be successful. At one point in time, Hardaway Jr. was the best role player on this team. Hardaway might be like the 5th, 6th, 7th best role player on this team. What you are getting from Luka and Kyrie and everybody else, I just think the Magic, I mean, not the Magic. To me, Dallas has looked like the best team in the playoffs. And then you look at Minnesota. You look at what they're getting from Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, the 6th man of the year. You look at the supporting cast for these teams. The Pacers, I know they down right now 3-0 against the Celtics, but look at what they are getting. Look at how great these teams play. And I think that's a big testament to why the teams that's in the finals right now, I mean, in their positions that they are in, I think that's why they're here, because a lot of these teams are playing great team basketball. Now, the difference for the Pacers, they don't have a Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Matter of fact, before I say that, understand when I say this, Jaylen Brown is not in the same category that I hold a Jason Tatum in. But Jason Tatum ain't in the same category that I hold Luka, Kyrie, Anthony Edwards. They don't have that on the Pacers. And as much as I like Tyrese Halliburton, one of his biggest problems is his lack of aggressiveness. Now, I know he didn't play in Game 3, but when you choose not to be an aggressive player when you can be a scorer, all you do is help the opposing team, because you just give them one less thing to worry about that night. Oh, he don't want to score tonight? Bet. That's what I see when I see Tyrese Halliburton go out there and be a passer all night long. But back to the Denver Nuggets. I think the Denver, because I know the first thing people want to do when a team loses is like, oh, well, what can they do to be better next year? I don't think the Denver Nuggets need. To me, the biggest problem that the Denver Nuggets had in this playoff series was Jamal Murray was up and down as he was throughout the entirety of the playoffs. This actually might have been his best playoff series. And Michael Porter Jr. was non-existent. When you have the Naz Reids and the others for the Minnesota Timberwolves playing good, you can't have the others for, like, KCP was non-existent in this series. Braun was non-existent in this series. Michael Porter Jr. was non-existent in this series. When that's the case, the greatness of Jokic got you to 7 games. Those up and down struggles for Murray, his good helped you get to a game 7. But at the end of the day, the better team ended up pulling it out. It was just too much to overcome if you Jokic and you gotta have a Cat having a good game, Naz Reid having a good game, McDaniels having a good game, AE having a good game. Hell, now Gobert having a good game. It's just too much to contain or too much to compete against when Braun's struggling, KCP struggling, Michael Porter Jr. struggling. And one of the things that I just always will find disgusting about the Nuggets is that when they are struggling, one of the things they allowed to happen, specifically when Jamal Murray is struggling, They allow him to try to shoot his way out of a struggle, but a lot of times it just get worse. And against certain teams, they take advantage of that 5-minute span where you try to let Jamal Murray shoot his way. God forbid they let him have like the rest of a quarter to try to shoot his way out of a struggle. Then a team like the Timberwolves really can hop on it and get going again. So to me, the Nuggets still got, I said it before, as great as I think Jokic is, I do not think Jamal Murray is as great as a lot of people think he is. I think he is good, but I don't think he is what a lot of people say he is. And the way he played the game, I think that do a lot of bad for. And I know a lot of people are like, well, he won a championship, Saint. If you take Jokic off of that team, they don't win a championship. So saying they won a championship because of how Jamal Murray plays, to me, is crazy when Jokic is sitting right there. To me, Jokic would have got past this round if he had a better point guard who had a better feel for the game. Mike Conley is a phenomenal. I was watching Mike Conley the other night thinking to myself, it's crazy how much better. Not even how much better. It's crazy how great he still is. I feel like he's still getting better. And it's a dude who had a whole great career with the Memphis Grizzlies and now having a whole great second part of his career with the Timberwolves. Look at how he feels throughout the game. I just feel like if Jamal Murray played the game in more of like and I'm not saying he need to be Mike Conley, but what I'm saying is if he played the game in a more strategic way, I think they possibly had a chance at winning that game. But at the end of the day, they didn't, he didn't, and they didn't move on. Now, I don't think that it's too many moves that the Denver Nuggets need to make to be a better team. I think the Denver Nuggets have a great team. They could come back next year with this same team and get to the finals and win. To me, the talent on this team, they got that. They got the player, the leader. It's not really they need to go out and, I mean, they can always get better with as far as like pieces offensively to help your bench and whatnot. But it'll always be schematically getting it done in the clutch, getting it like turning the ball over and things like that is what's gonna hold Denver back, not the roster right now, because I don't think Denver have a bad roster. When I look at the Dallas Mavericks and beating OKC, now I'm seeing a lot of people go at OKC, yo. Like Shannon Sharp immediately tried to take a victory lap. Like, I told you so. I told you they was the worst number one seed. I don't think they was a bad number one seed. They battled all the way through that series against Dallas. One of the reasons they was able to battle against Dallas is because they were also a well-oiled team, bro. Like I'm telling you, this playoff series had a lot of great teams. And it's got a lot of great players also, but it's hard to look at any of these teams right now and say Luka don't got help, or Kyrie ain't got help, or Tatum ain't got help. It's very hard to look at any team in the playoffs right now and think to yourself, man, this superstar needs more help. All of these teams pretty much is well put together teams. So shout out to every team in the playoffs right now. I am thoroughly impressed with how put together a lot of these teams are. But OKC to me was not a terrible number one pick. And I hate when people try to devalue the regular season like, oh, well, they only got the number one seed because nobody care about the regular season. Fans keep telling players to care about the regular season, but then fans will pop off at the mouth basically saying that they don't care about the regular season or that the regular season don't matter. Somebody play hard in the regular season, they're like, oh, he trying hard. Somebody win MVP for the regular season. Oh, well, it was just the regular season. Fans are just a bunch of fucking idiots at the end of the day. But to me, OKC looked great. I know a lot of people talk about what I'm interested in for OKC, because nobody's going to go and just sign with OKC. Like, no big time superstar is going to go sign with OKC off of their own free will. So I think OKC need to look into going to make a trade for a superstar to possibly get over the hump. Because I think right now, say Paul George or Kawhi, or not Kawhi, or KD were in OKC alongside SGA. I think that's a championship contending team. To me, OKC has the bench. To me, I just like OKC's team. I think they had the talent, the bench, the leadership, the coaching, the front office. I think they got it all to be a championship team. I just think it's going to be very hard for SGA to go out here and have to do it alone every year. Now, I don't think he's doing it alone because Chet is a good player, and Chet could possibly become like a 25 per game scorer next year. So you'll have him and SGA going like as the 1 and 2. However, it'll never hurt to get a solid number 3. Now, I don't know what the number 3 would be because I don't think Paul George is signing with OKC, and I also don't think Kevin Durant is signing with OKC. However, DeMar DeRozan, if he's still under contract, I wouldn't be mad at that type of trade. To me, if they can go get another legitimate scorer that can take the pressure off of SGA, somebody who can go get their own bucket, but can also play within the confines of an offense. So I'm not talking about like go get D'Angelo Russell. He's not going to want to play in the confines of a certain offense. I'm saying go get a guy who can give you 20. It might not even have to be a superstar level player to be completely honest with you. It can just be like a player who you know is a great 3-point shooter who will more than likely on a game-to-game basis give you about 15 to 20 points. And that's going to be big for you. So that's another roster, though, that I don't think they have too many moves they have to make, but they got a lot of moves that they can make because I think they got a lot of draft picks. They got a lot of young talent. So I think OKC a team that could get. The one thing that I know for sure, you're going to see OKC and Denver in the playoffs competing for a title as 2 top teams once again next year. Then neither of those 2 teams is going to get worse going into next year. So if you were hoping for the downfall of either of those 2 teams, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Both teams will more than likely be better next year because both teams is not just young and talented, but they got 2 great. I really like the leadership or the best players for both teams. SGA, Jokic. I think that's 2 dudes people going to want to play with and play for when they on the team. So you might not want to be in either OKC or Denver, but when you get there and you know you got to play alongside those 2 dudes, you're going to be like, yeah, let's buckle down and win this shit. I want to battle with these 2 dudes. So I really like Jokic and SGA. The 2 dudes who was competing for the MVP. SGA could probably, I'm not going to say he'll win it next year, but I mean, shit. He got as good a chance as anybody to win it next year since people feel like he got robbed this year. So he's going to go into next year with all eyes on him because people are going to want to give him MVP. They're going to want any reason to give him MVP, and I'm here for it. The current round of the Dallas Mavericks taking on. See, this is my problem when people try to go at the OKC. Because I don't think OKC just lost to a bad team. Like, I understand Dallas's ranking, but I don't think that this, like, you not finna tell me that you watching these playoff games and you saying to yourself, oh, Dallas just lost to OKC lost to a bad team that they should have beat. Yo, do you see how Luka is playing right now? Luka is damn near having no. It's no such thing as a perfect player, man, but damn it, when you can see a player enter they fucking prime, the way Luka is getting this ball and going up court and understanding exactly what he needs to do to make his players better around him and for him to be. I understand how bad he looked at certain times defensively in that first series. But Luka is not taking a lot of plays off in this series. And when you look at how Kyrie playing defense in this series and how they done played defense in that previous series and what they are getting from everybody around them. See, before you can make the argument that players didn't play hard for Luka, you can't tell me players ain't playing hard for Luka right now. You cannot tell me these dudes are not playing hard for Luka right now. The way Luka has evolved his game in order to get the most out of everybody around him and himself is unreal. It's unreal, and it's happening right before your eyes, and we so used to seeing Luka be great that I don't even think some people realize how truly great he is playing right now. I understand everybody want to give Kyrie credit, and I'm giving Kyrie nothing but credit, but Kyrie would not be able to do what he is doing right now if not for the evolution of Luka Doncic. What Luka is becoming right before our eyes is the best player in the NBA. He is matching Jokic for best player in the NBA because of how he is seeing the game, how he is playing the game. It's a lot like LeBron used to do, where he know exactly what he need to do to get everybody else, the best out of everybody else, but he also know I'm unstoppable. You cannot stop me. That's why I'm not getting mad or going at OKC like, oh, you should have won that series. Man, Kyrie and Luka is two of the most deadly scorers in NBA history. And then when you put to the side that Luka can end his career as a top 10 player all time. This ain't no average Joe we dealing with right now, yo. Like, I really need y'all to sit down and look at what Luka is doing right now. Luka's a monster. He's a monster. The way he is playing the game right now is crazy. It's crazy. And I don't think it's being talked about enough. Like, we know how great Luka is. But look at how he is playing, because we focus on a lot of different things with Luka, but just look at what he is doing to make the game so much. Every single time they play, they have a chance. I think this is the only team right now, aside from Boston, because Boston got a stacked team against the East. But in the West, the only team that I think have a chance every single time they done got on the court is Dallas. It don't matter how many points they go down, because I know how great Luka and Kyrie can turn. When Luka go down by a certain amount of points, I know he understand how to adjust his game to get his team back into the game. And once he get to a certain point in that game where they done made a comeback, he know how to take his game to the next level, or he know what to do now to get his team over that hump. Now when they leading, he know what to do now to keep the lead and put the game. Like, to me, you seeing all these different layers to Luka Doncic. And Kyrie done played out of his mind at different points in time in these series. Kyrie has been phenomenal in this series, but I done seen Kyrie be better. So no disrespect to brother Kyrie, as great as he has been. A lot of different Mavericks players I can make an argument done been as great as they've ever been. And I just don't think it's possible if Luka has not played the way he has played the game. It's unreal. It's such a joy to watch. It's hard for me to even truly to really tell you who else. Like, cause in my mind, every time I think of somebody, the only person in my mind I can think of right now is Kobe, but that's not who he remind me of. That's just who on the brain right now. But when you just look at his ability, like, he understand the pacing of the game. He understand when he need to go be aggressive. And that's what, to me, what Tyrese Halliburton is not understanding how to do. He trying to put together the game that Luka is putting together, but he not quite there yet. Luka, and maybe Tyrese will be there eventually, but boy, and mind you, Luka can get to his spots. He can get his teammates to their spots. I'm telling you, the way they got these two centers looking right now, my goodness. I think it's Daniel Gafford. I think that's his name. Him and Lively, bro. Oh, my goodness. So credit to Dallas. I think Dallas is headed to the finals. They up 2 games right now to Minnesota. Both games were in Minnesota. They were down damn near 20 points in game 2 and still came back and hit that. Luka with a step back game winner on Rudy Gobert. I'm not understanding why they allowed Luka Doncic to be on an island with Rudy Gobert. I don't understand why teams or coaches keep making this decision to have Rudy Gobert, because of his height, try to disrupt the shooter. Every time he get put on skates and the point guard hit a step back 3-pointer. We done seen Curry do it to him. We done seen Luka do it to him now. We done seen every point guard under the sun make this dude look silly when you pull him out of the paint. And I saw somebody tweet, you would have never seen any coach allow Steph Curry on an island with the game on the line. They sending 2 defenders his way. But for some reason, they allowed Luka Doncic, as good as he is, to be left on an island with Rudy Gobert. And I can't understand it either. I can't understand it either. But moving along to a team that I hate. The Boston Celtics. Fuck Boston. Fuck Boston. Fuck Boston. I do not like Boston. I done said this a multitude of times. As a Laker fan, if you are a Boston fan listening to this, I want you to know it's nothing personal. I've been a Laker fan my whole life. I know it's a lot of Bron stans right now that claim to be Laker fans, so they got y'all confused a little bit. But respectfully, fuck those dudes. I am a true Laker fan. And as a true Laker fan, it's always going to be fuck Boston. But Boston is up 3-0 right now in their series against the Indiana Pacers. And Indiana really regretting letting that game 1 get away now, huh? Oh, boy. Because they let another one get away tonight, and they were without Tyrese Halliburton, but you led for damn near the majority of the game. You was up 20, it felt like, at one point in time in the game, and you still lost the game. It's a lot of teams who I said don't really need to make a lot of roster adjustments in the offseason. Yo, the Pacers to me, the Pacers, and they'll probably have as hard a time as any team like OKC trying to get another superstar level player over there to play with them. But man, I don't know if Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner gonna get the job done for you. I'm not gonna say break them up because everybody like to keep these experiments going for a hell of a long time. Boston kept Jaylen Brown in it, and eventually Boston just ended up. I mean, this is a very good year for Boston right now. No Giannis, no Jimmy Butler. Like, this is a very great year in the Eastern Conference for Boston right now. Now there's no Tyrese Halliburton. Like, the Boston Celtics is having a hell of a run right now in the Eastern Conference, yo. Ain't too much resistance, as we call it. But I don't see the Pacers coming back. You're down 3-0. I don't see them coming back. I just think Boston, I don't even think Boston have a great offense. They just shoot up a lot of threes. They can shoot you out of game because they shoot a lot of threes, or they can completely get their asses whooped because they just miss a lot of threes. I think that it's as simple as that. They ISO the ball every damn time they go up the court with Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. I've been saying it for the longest, for about 2-3 years now. Boston's offense is the same. All they do is bring in dudes who better at shooting threes or have a better year at shooting threes. It ain't really ever changed. It's the same offense on a year-to-year basis. That's why I feel like Luka Doncic could be hell for these motherfuckers in the finals. And wouldn't it be so sweet if Kyrie ended up winning his second NBA championship against the Boston fucking Celtics? Oh my God. I just thought about that. And now I want Kyrie and Luka to win a championship even more. Because this hate that I have in my heart for the Boston fucking Celtics, yo. Oh my God. All the shit that they talk to Kyrie. If brother Kyrie can get to the finals and torch these motherfuckers. Now, there's going to be some ridiculous conversations had about Kyrie after if he win. I already can see that coming, but I'm going to ignore those because I'm going to enjoy Boston losing even more. And at that point, I feel like if you Boston, you just think to yourself, could we ever get it done? Will we ever get it done? How could we ever get it done? I mean, we got the best roster in the NBA, a lot would say. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. The demise of the Boston Celtics will be televised. Like it was when Steph Curry put his foot in that ass. It's a real long... this a lot of years of hating the Boston Celtics built up. I don't want to see these bums win a championship. And I'm not calling the players on the team bums. I'm calling the Boston Celtics as a whole, as an industry, as an organization bums. And if you fuck with Boston Celtics, fuck you too. But listen, I enjoy catching up. It's been a minute, it feels like. Once again, a couple shout outs actually. I'll probably do the shout outs to these WNBA players next game, but actually, before we go, I do want to talk about Caitlin Clark, because a lot of people did not like what I had to say about Caitlin Clark in a previous video, on a previous show. And I'm not, to be completely honest with you, I don't really understand what I said wrong about Caitlin Clark. I'm just saying what I see from Caitlin Clark. The only time I'm talking about something I don't see is when I say what I think she can be. But that's going off of what I'm projecting her to be based off of what I see from her game and improvements I think she can make in her game to be better. I have not gone at Caitlin Clark. I haven't talked down on Caitlin Clark. I haven't disrespected Caitlin Clark. I haven't said a bad word about Caitlin Clark. So I think some of the Caitlin Clark fans is so addicted to thinking that everybody is here to hate on Caitlin Clark that anytime somebody say any type of constructive criticism towards Caitlin Clark, it's taken as hate. And I don't understand that. I also don't understand why grown-ass men keep getting on these different platforms talking about people in the WNBA is hating on Caitlin Clark. Because I haven't heard a single WNBA player do anything but heap praise on Caitlin Clark and say how happy they are that she is in the WNBA and all the things she done brought to the WNBA and the changes she done helped bring to the WNBA. So I'm not understanding this divide that the men are trying to create in sports media. Nonetheless, shout out to Caitlin Clark, who finally picked up her first win in the WNBA against my Los Angeles Sparks on Friday night. Caitlin Clark did not have the greatest of shooting nights, but she did hit some big-time buckets down the stretch to help her get that double-double. The thing that I like the most about Caitlin Clark in this game, really what I like about Caitlin Clark so far in the WNBA is, while at the moment she cannot rely on being because I think she averaged like 11 or 12 points right now. Caitlin cannot, her scoring is up and down right now. It's not where she wanted to be yet. Let me put it like that. She not the consistent scorer where every game she knows she going in, she going to get 20 plus points a game, and she know how she going to get them, and she know what she need to do to get. She not there yet, but that's to be expected. That's where she'll be late year 2, year 3. But what she do already, because I talked about how Angel Reese, she just works so hard. So she get buckets just off of her hustle. Caitlin Clark done realized I can still be effective in a game even when I'm not scoring. So 10 rebounds last night. And she's starting to speed up. So the game is starting to slow down for her. She's starting to speed up with the game because now turnovers was a problem for her early. She's starting to realize the passes that she can make, the things that she can do to WNBA players who have been in the game for a little minute. Now when Caitlin Clark puts some more size on her, she gets stronger, which that's going to come next year because she's going to spend probably the off season and whatnot getting stronger. Caitlin Clark going to be a demon. To me, I was watching the game saying to myself, boy, if Caitlin Clark was our point guard right now, we would be undefeated and she would be having such an easier time right now. Because we needed Caitlin Clark to be able to get the other women on our team the buckets. Now, granted, Caitlin Clark draw up a lot of attention, so that would be deadly for a team like the Sparks that can put 5 scorers on the floor. So if you switch one of them out with Caitlin Clark and she is the point guard, my God. But I think Caitlin Clark could be now listen, there's a lot of great guards in the game right now in the WNBA. But Caitlin Clark, to me, the way she played the game, the way her game already evolved from game 1 to game 2 to game 3 to game 4, I understand some people will say she got to score the ball better, and I get that. But I don't really think they losing games because of Caitlin Clark. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm looking at Caitlin Clark, and I think that one of the biggest things that's hurting them, just like it's hurting a couple other teams, they don't get to spend too much time training together. They didn't really get an off season, a training camp, and all those things that you need to help be better as a team. Now, I think Caitlin Clark's greatness. Now, listen, I done heard people say that Caitlin Clark is only great right now because you know, a lot of people is worried about stopping her and yada, yada, yada. So that's the reason she can get these other people opening, because everybody just want to make her look bad. And I think she run the show pretty good right now. Do I think she the greatest floor general I ever seen? No, but she's a rookie and she's already an above average floor general. I think one of the biggest things that Caitlin Clark is a scorer. She wants to score the ball. And the reality is, when you're struggling shooting the ball as a scorer, that is going to affect your mentality more so than somebody who don't expect to score a lot of points a night. So they can be, them missing 2, 3, 4, 5 shots not going to affect them, because you're not relying on them anyways, and they know that. Caitlin Clark got the whole world on her back right now. She is expecting to carry a franchise, and in a lot of instances that people expect her to carry the WNBA. A bad shooting night for her is going to affect, like, she didn't smile last night, I don't think, till she hit the big 3-pointers towards the back end of the game in the clutch. Then you finally saw a smile on her face, because that's how much pressure she playing with. If somebody can get Caitlin Clark to understand, shorty, you're going to be good regardless. Whether you struggle your first season, you're good regardless. For one, she already a good player. You can already see in her game she's a good player, above average player. She just got to loosen up. I think once she loosen up, that's when she gonna start to become more of the Caitlin Clark we saw in college. Because while she don't have the most pristine scoring game right now, I still think that she pretty great. Like, listen, would I like her to have a more pristine mid-range game? Have more moves to work with from the mid-range? Have more? Yes. But A'ja Wilson wasn't a finished product when she first came into the league. Nobody is a finished. Everybody can't be Candace Parker. To me, right now, where Caitlin Clark is, you can look at her game and you can say to yourself, this is why I know she's great. Because if you put her on the Sparks right now, they'd be undefeated. They'd be undefeated, and Caitlin Clark would be having an unreal season right now. To me, the only difference is, the roster for Indiana is not as great as the roster for the Sparks. She does not have the shooters and the scorers around her that they have on the Sparks. So she have to do more, or she feel like she got to do more. And so that's the only reason to me her game looked the way it looked at times. Because Indiana is, respectfully, they good, but they not. And I know it's hard to say this when you say this, bro, the Sparks only got 1 win on the season. I get that. But shout out to Caitlin Clark and the Fever for picking up their first win of the season. It was a great game by Caitlin Clark. Big time clutch buckets down the stretch. Huge clutch buckets down the stretch. So I'm disappointed because they beat my team. We got a rematch coming up soon against them. Shout out. With that being said, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You can be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. You never know what somebody going through. All right? So be kind to people. Give a compliment here or there if you can. It can go such a long way to somebody having such a shitty day. All right? I fuck with you. I love you, and I appreciate you. So like, subscribe, share. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking or something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home.